Hello again everybody, Tim Kreitz here. As some of you know, I've recently added a brand new Triumph Bonneville to my stable, and in the process of doing that I watched a whole bunch of Triumph Bonneville review videos on YouTube. Some of them were pretty good, some of them were very good, a lot of them sucked. And so I'm going to do my own here. Here's one more thing on YouTube that's already been done to death, but I'm going to do it to death plus one. Well, as I said, I recently bought the bike, and having been on tour for the past few weeks since I bought it, I haven't had an opportunity to put a lot of miles on it. But thankfully yesterday, my schedule freed up, and my best friend and drummer, who is on the road with me all the time, Britt Parker, who's got an 08 Street Glide, went with me, and we took a little ride down into the tabletop mountains of West Texas yesterday. And before we get into the specifics of what I like about this bike, what I don't like about it, check out this little montage set to some Tim Kreitz Band music and just see how our day went. This is about 225 miles in a little over 2 minutes. So dig it.
Drink that shine, speak your mind. The whiskey is on your breath. Feeling fine and talking blind and boring us all to death. Your opinions are fallacies and alchemy of duality. Something is wrong with the monkey breed. The herring are dying and turning red. A fire still burns in the baby's bed, and the straw man is tearing to shreds. Sure and bold, doing as you're told. Your thoughts are a pamphlet page. Protect the fold when the truth gets told. Cover the hamster cage. Just a groundhog inside your head. You've been misled. You're the living dead. Something is wrong with the monkey breed. The herring are dying and turning red. A fire still burns in the baby's bed, and the straw man is tearing to shreds.
Alright, so a fun day of riding out in West Texas on a warm spring day. What more can you ask for, right? Incidentally, if you liked the song that was set to, you can download it for free from my Reverb Nation page, and I've got a link down below in the description that will lead you to it. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and do this formal review of my 2013 Triumph Bonneville.
If you listen to the hype and marketing surrounding the current era of Bonnevilles, you'll quickly realize that what's being sold is actually nostalgia, a line of bikes that harkens back to the transport cafe motorcycle culture of late 50s and early 60s Britain. Honestly, I don't know if the modern interpretation of the Bonneville accomplishes that goal or not. I've never ridden a vintage Triumph, and the era it references was long before my time. I bought it because to me it simply looks, sounds, and feels like a proper motorcycle should. And while I admittedly do enjoy bikes with a retro look, The baseline 2013 Bonneville I now own, with its mag wheels and blacked out engine, reminds me far more of the 1970s, which is the decade of motorcycle styling I most prefer. I enjoyed many fun years on my 1978 KZ1000, and when I decided to sell it, I wanted to replace it with a bike that exuded the same vibe. I just didn't want the oil leaks, electrical problems, and other eccentricities that come with a 35-year-old motorcycle. Bone simple but thoroughly modern, the 2013 Bonneville gives you 60-odd horsepower to the ground and about 50 foot-pounds of torque in an impressively linear torque curve. It'll run 80 miles an hour all day, which is the highway speed limit out here in West Texas, with plenty of grunt left for passing. Now, don't get me wrong, it's no speed demon, nor did I buy it to go fast or rip wheelies on. I have another bike for that purpose. The Bonneville is great for day rides, commuting, and posing, and is perhaps the perfect around-town motorcycle. That is, so long as you're 5'10" or shorter, I'd say. Otherwise, you'll likely find yourself a bit cramped, as the Bonneville is definitely a short, compact design. The mirrors are very functional, but very ugly. You might consider a set of bar-end mirrors for your Bonneville, as the stalkers look more like a set of insect antennae than rearview mirrors. Its suspension is the Bonneville's only major flaw. The front is non-adjustable, and only the preload can be changed on the rear. The result is an extremely stiff ride that can be downright jaw-jarring on rough roads. The bike is fuel-injected with those infamous throttle bodies that are made to impersonate carburetors. It's got a fast idle plunger for cold days, which we have very rarely here in West Texas, and enough of everything else to please the average retro-modern motorcycle enthusiast. The stock pipes are dead silent, and on a bike without a tachometer, you'll most likely want to add a louder set of pipes. Just don't buy the Emgo bell ends I bought for mine. Even with the baffles installed, the bike is incredibly loud. One last thing in parting. In watching other reviews of the Bonneville, I found this one disturbing trend. Lots of purported motorcycle people out there don't seem to know the difference between a standard motorcycle and a cruiser, and lump the Bonneville into the cruiser category in their reviews. I even saw one review where the Bonneville was put into a cruiser comparison. That's retarded.
Cock-a-doodle-doo! Cock-a-doodle-doo! Good night, everybody!
So please understand, all you so-called motorcycle experts out there, the Triumph Bonneville is not a cruiser. The Triumph America, for example, is a cruiser. See the difference? Good. Glad I could help. Bottom line, if you've got $7 grand to spend, are under 5'10" and like retro bikes, the Bonneville may be the bike for you.